Hi guys, Frank here from Build Price Option. Today we're going to do a features and walk around review of the 2017 Nissan Sentra SV. We might talk a little bit about the other trim level configurations to help us explain this particular SV model. There's multiple trim levels, right? There's like 5. This SV is just one step above the base model. So we're going to really kind of just talk about the base model and its features, and then the SV and some features that it gets. Real quick before we get started, I want to remind you to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be putting out a lot more videos like this, so you're going to want to stay tuned. Also, speaking of other videos, I just did a 2019 Nissan Sentra. All right, now here's the deal. They redesigned the Sentra in 2013. This is a 2017. They have not redesigned the Sentra. So the 2019 basically still looks just like this. So go check out that review. I'm going to put a link up to it right now. So I want to start, I want to go into some features and stuff. Before we go into those features, I want to talk about some quick stats. And I want to talk about some pros and cons. Back in 2017, this vehicle, the base model, the S model, MSRP for just over $17,000. They all get the same engine except for the ones that are turbo. This one's not a turbo. This is the base 1.8 liter engine, puts out 124 horsepower and 125 pound-feet of torque. It's got a 13-gallon fuel tank, gets 29 miles to the gallon in the city, 37 miles to the gallon on the highway. And it's got those little itty-bitty baby 16-inch wheels, two pizzas. They're pizzas, really. 205 16s. I mean, these are some of the cheapest tires that you're going to get when it comes time to replacing tires. All right, so I said I want to say something about pros and cons. Let's talk about that. So this Sentra, for its class, it's got a really spacious, roomy back seat. What's really cool, it's got really great soft touch material. You can see how much I'm pressing down on this. Your elbows aren't hard. Power windows, power locks, really spacious back seat, and you even have a couple of USBs back there and a couple of cubbies that aren't very deep, so all your stuff's gonna fall out, but you know, some pockets. There's also some pockets in the back seats. Oh, just on the passenger seat though. It's not on the driver's seat actually. Then of course you have your beverage holder back here, one on each side, and then of course your speaker. The trunk in the 2017 Nissan Sentra is really spacious for the class as well. 15.1 cubic feet of space. Now, just as an aside, in a lot of my build and price videos, they talk about putting an applique here. When we talk about building and pricing a new car, they talk about putting an applique here. Why? Because when you take your packages out, you always end up scraping right here. So just remember that. The 2017 Nissan Sentra was priced lower than many of its rivals, and its tech interface, right? Its tech interface is really easy to use. I know that because I've used this tech interface, and it is really easy to use. Now, let's talk about some cons. Now, the first one I'm going to say is that it's got slow acceleration on most models. The models that aren't turbo are slow. This car is slow. Its throttle response is sluggish. Its transmission is sluggish. The steering actually is pretty good. But you know what? It's got a saving grace. It's that sport button. No, the sport doesn't make it like add 10 horsepower or something like that. But it sharpens up the throttle response, and it sharpens up the shifting, and it seems like it sharpens up the steering a little bit, and it gets real sporty. I've had a lot of fun driving this car in the sport mode. Oh, and the other con is that Bluetooth streaming audio isn't standard on the base model, but that's no surprise. Okay, so I said I want to talk about some configurations and talk about what the standard features are on this Nissan Sentra SV, right? Now, here's the deal. Now, it's a 5-passenger car, as you can obviously tell. It comes in S, which is the base model. This one's an SV. Then above this one, there's an SR. Then there's an SR with a turbo. And then there's an SL trim level. All right, now this one's the SV, so it's only one step up from the base. So what we're going to do is just talk about what features come on the base model, because all the features that come on the base model are going to obviously come on this car as well. And then we'll talk about what additional features come on an SV. Now, if you want to know about other trim levels of the SV, I'm going to put a link down in the description. I've done a complete in-depth write-up of the 2017 Nissan Sentra on my website. So you can check out everything you want to know about it. It's on my website. The link's in the description. So the base Sentra S comes with 16-inch wheels just like this one. It has an automatic headlights, right? There's automatic headlights, so that means they come on automatically. There's remote keyless entry, which this one has. It's got remote keyless entry. You just press this little, can you see that? Let's see if we call this angle here. You can see that button here. You press that and it'll lock and unlock the doors. Now, there's air conditioning. There is an adjustable driver's seat. There is a 60-40 split rear seat, so that means that these rear seats come down right in here. There's a telescoping steering column. There's cruise control. There's Bluetooth phone connectivity. And there's 4 speakers, right? I'm assuming one in each door. There's one here. I know there's one in that door. And I saw the other ones in the back door. So there's one in each door. That's for the base model S. Now, this is an SV. We'll get to see, does it have an upgraded stereo? We'll keep reading to find out. Now, in addition to that 4-speaker sound system, there's a CD player, there's a USB port, and there's an auxiliary jack. Let me show you where that is. The auxiliary jack lives way down here in the armrest, which is actually pretty cool. So the armrest has this latch right here, right? You can see that latch, can you? Yeah, this latch right here. That's how it locks, but it also slides. This thing also slides. So it's nice and it's adjustable. It's pretty cool. Now, when you step up to the SV like this model, you get push button start. So that's the big deal. You get keyless entry and ignition. This cloth interior, be it as it may, it's the upgraded cloth interior. Yeah, it's the upgraded cloth interior. I don't even want to see what the S stuff looks like. While I've got it open, it's a pretty big cavern in here. It's pretty deep. I don't know how much stuff you can stuff in there, but it's pretty roomy. One feature I do like is that this steering wheel is leather wrapped, and you would think it doesn't make a difference. A leather wrapped steering wheel makes a huge difference. I drove a car over the summer that did not have a leather wrapped steering wheel, and it was hard. I mean, hard as a rock. So the SV gets a leather wrapped steering wheel, and that's an upgrade. So my foot's on the brake, and I've got the key in my proximity, so we can start the car. And let's see, you know, there's other things that this car has. There's that 5-inch information driver display that's right here. It's showing a warning, I guess, because, well, all the doors are open. Right, and that's the screen and the drivers and the instrument cluster, and it does quite a few things. Let me see. Can I go through some of them? So it's got it's telling you different things. You can go through your settings and what else? Average speed, trip, and a trip B, and there's a fuel economy, and yeah, that's not a whole bunch of stuff. I was hoping to see a digital speedometer, but no such luck. Okay, so this is an SV. I don't know if you can see it or not, but this one has the rear view camera. That's an upgrade option for the SV. In addition to that, this car actually has a 6-speaker sound system. And I bet you the other 2 speakers are right here. There's one here, and there's one over there. So that's 5 and 6. So those are the other 2 speakers. And then it has satellite radio as well. You can see the little XM satellite radio. Okay. So I got the engine running. It's actually very quiet. It's very quiet, and it's a little 4-cylinder, but it's not rattling around or shaking or anything. All right, so what I want to do before I wrap this video up is I want to talk about some frequently asked questions that I see out there about the 2017 Nissan Sentra. So I'm going to go ahead and answer those right now. So a lot of people want to know, is a rear view camera standard starting at the SV trim level? Well, yeah, I just showed you, yes it is. A rear view camera is standard for the SV. The whole thing is, you see a lot of these SVs out there on the market, and like I said, they're about a little bit over about $18,000 in change for an SV. I was just looking before I did this video. I was just looking at them on the used car market, and depending on what the mileage is on them, you can see them for $15,000, $12,000. I saw them for $11,000 with just like 30,000 miles on it. So it's not the end of the world. This particular car has like 23,000 and change on it, right? So it's not a lot of miles. It's still purring. It's got a lot of life left in it. Another question I see is, are Nissan Sentras good cars? The answer is yeah, they're really good cars. Nissans are really great cars. I've had a couple Nissan 300ZXs, 240s. That doesn't really count because, yeah. But anyway, these cars come with an easy-to-use infotainment system, 2 rows of adult-friendly seats, and a large trunk. It also gets decent gas mileage and generally provides a smooth ride, which it does actually. And while the Sentra only comes as a sedan, some competitors are also available in a hatchback and body style, but I'm a sedan guy, so I don't mind a sedan. All right, let's look at some photos while we finish this up. I mean, not a photo, let's look at some video footage of this thing, a walk around with all the doors closed so we can actually see the design a little bit better. It's actually not a bad looking vehicle. Now, here's another good frequently asked question. You see that this says SV on the back. Well, a lot of people are saying, what does that mean? What is a Nissan SV? What does SV actually stands for? Well, there's different designations that are used that Nissan uses to distinguish between trim levels. The S simply stands for standard, yeah. The SV stands for standard value. The SL stands for standard luxury. And the SR, I don't know. I really don't know. If you know, let me know. Leave a comment below. Another question people ask is, does the Nissan Sentra have front wheel drive? Yeah, it's had front wheel drive since the 80s. Nissan Sentras have front wheel drive for a very long time. In addition, people ask, does it have that CVT transmission, right? That continuously variable transmission? Yep, that's standard. It's standard on this SV, and it's standard on every model of Sentra except for the base model. The base model comes with a 6-speed manual transmission, but it can be optioned with the automatic. And if it's an automatic, then it's by default the CVT transmission. And then finally, my last frequently asked question, and I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up, is what kind of gas, what octane gas does the Nissan Sentra require? What does it use? Well, it only needs 87 octane gas. So you can put the cheap stuff in this car, and it's more than happy to live its life on 87 octane gas. So that's it. That's my review of the 2017 Nissan Sentra. This is the SV. I talked about the S, I talked about the SV. If you want to know more about the Nissan Sentra, the 2017, like all the details, all the trim levels, what the other trim levels have on them, click the link in the description. Go check out the article on my website. Other than that, please like, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.